For years, Amelia Warner chose silence. She watched the world speculate about her marriage, her family, and even her dignity, yet she never responded. While Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson's on-screen chemistry fueled endless rumors, Amelia stayed quietly in the background, refusing to play a role in Hollywood's favorite triangle. But silence has a limit, and recently, that limit was pushed further than anyone imagined. All it took was one new rumor, one spark, to ignite the biggest scandal she had ever been dragged into. It started when a resurfaced behind-the-scenes video from the 50 Shades set went viral again. Fans slowed it down, analyzed every second, zooming into the way Jamie looked at Dakota, the way she laughed, the way their hands brushed. To some, it was innocent. To others, it was an emotional betrayal happening right in front of them. The clip hit millions of views in just hours, and suddenly Amelia's name was trending, even though she wasn't in the video and had nothing to do with it. Then came the article that broke the internet. A tabloid claimed Jamie had been in private contact with Dakota for years and that their emotional connection had never truly ended. Most people dismissed it as sensational gossip, but not all. Within minutes, fans began speculating about the state of Jamie and Amelia's marriage. Had Amelia spent years enduring something she never spoke about? Was Dakota still part of Jamie's life in a way the world didn't know? The rumors only escalated when paparazzi captured Jamie looking tense, almost irritated, after being asked about Dakota during an event. In the clip, his jaw stiffened, his eyes dropped, and he muttered a vague answer that reporters instantly twisted into something scandalous. Overnight, social media declared that the triangle had returned, and that Amelia had finally reached her breaking point. Fan pages turned into battlegrounds. Some defended Amelia fiercely, calling her the silent victim of a drama she never asked for. Others accused her of standing in the way of Jamie and Dakota's undeniable chemistry. Worst of all, many people began creating cruel theories about her, claiming she had been unhappy for years, that she was jealous, insecure, or even controlling. None of it was true, but truth doesn't matter when a narrative goes viral. Amelia's silence only made everything more chaotic. She didn't post anything. She didn't show up at events. She didn't defend herself. And in the cruel world of celebrity gossip, silence becomes evidence. People assumed her quietness was confirmation of everything they wanted to believe. Day by day, the pressure grew heavier, the comments harsher, the speculations more unhinged. But the final blow, the one that forced Amelia into the spotlight, came from a podcast host who claimed to have a trusted insider. According to this mysterious source, Amelia was emotionally devastated and had been struggling to deal with Jamie and Dakota's unresolved feelings. The claim spread like wildfire. Videos, edits, emotional montages, and dramatic commentary flooded TikTok and YouTube. Suddenly, Amelia was no longer just Jamie's wife. She was the centerpiece of a scandal she never created. That was when everything shifted. For the first time in years, Amelia appeared publicly, not at a premiere, not at a red carpet, but on a quiet, intimate talk show. Viewers noticed immediately how different she looked. Calm but guarded, soft, but with a weight behind her eyes that suggested she was tired of being misunderstood. The host welcomed her gently, easing into the conversation with warm, harmless questions. But everyone watching knew the moment would come. And it did. The host looked directly at her, hesitated for half a second, then asked the question the entire world had been waiting to hear. "Amelia, do you have anything you want to say about Jamie and Dakota?" The studio air seemed to freeze. Amelia didn't respond immediately. Instead, she took a slow breath, one that seemed to carry years of swallowed emotions. Her eyes dropped for a moment before lifting again with a steadiness that surprised everyone. For the first time, she wasn't just Jamie Dornan's wife. She was a woman finally preparing to tell her side of a story the world thought it already knew. The audience leaned in. Fans held their breath. The internet prepared to explode. And as Amelia opened her mouth to speak, it became clear that her truth would change everything. Amelia's first words were quiet, almost gentle, but they carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken conversations. People think silence means weakness, she said softly. But sometimes silence is just choosing peace over chaos. The audience didn't make a sound. The host didn't interrupt. The world seemed suspended, waiting for the next sentence that would finally reveal what Amelia had held inside for so many years. She continued, eyes drifting toward the floor for a moment before meeting the camera again. I've seen what people say about Jamie and Dakota. I've seen the videos, the comments, the theories. And I understand why people believe them. Their connection on screen was powerful. She paused, letting her honesty settle. But connection doesn't always mean what people think it means. There was something deeply human about the way she spoke, not defensive, not hostile, but honest in a way few celebrities ever allow themselves to be. Of course it affected me, she admitted. I'm not made of stone. No partner wants to see the person they love turned into a character in someone else's fantasy. Her voice softened even further. But the truth is more complicated than a headline. The host leaned forward, sensing that Amelia was finally ready to touch the core of what everyone wanted to know. And she was. For a long time, Amelia said, people assumed I was jealous or threatened by Dakota. But the truth is, I was never angry at her. The audience gasped at the unexpected twist. Dakota is kind. She's respectful. She never crossed the lines people think she did. She revealed that she and Dakota had actually met privately on several occasions, something the public had no idea about. We weren't enemies, Amelia said with a faint smile. We were two women caught in a story that didn't belong to us. She didn't go into details, but the implication was clear. Whatever the world believed, the dynamic behind closed doors wasn't built on rivalry or resentment. Then came the moment that shifted the entire narrative. Jamie and I had our challenges, she said frankly. But they weren't because of her. They were because of us, our careers, our schedules, our responsibilities, our own insecurities. For the first time, Amelia openly acknowledged that her marriage had been through storms, but Dakota was not the cause of them. It was a revelation that stunned both the audience and the internet. As she went on, her words became even more vulnerable. There were times when I felt overshadowed, she confessed. Not by Dakota, but by the world's expectations. People wanted a story that wasn't ours. They wanted drama, betrayal, heartbreak, because it made good entertainment. Her eyes glistened, but she didn't look away. It took me a long time to understand that their story belongs on screen. Our story belongs at home. The host hesitated before asking the question everyone feared. So, where do you and Jamie stand now? Amelia smiled, but it wasn't a triumphant smile. It was tired, real, and full of truth. We're still standing, she said. Not perfectly, not without scars, but we're choosing to keep trying. She made no promises, no fairy tale declarations. Instead, she offered something far more authentic. Marriage isn't a movie. It doesn't have clean endings or perfect resolutions. It's messy, it's painful, and it's worth fighting for if both people still care. She also addressed her long silence directly. People ask why I never spoke before, she said. The answer is simple. I didn't want to add fuel to something that was already out of control. Her voice steadied. I have children who didn't deserve to grow up with strangers telling them their family was falling apart. I kept quiet because I wanted to protect what mattered most. But then her tone changed, firmer, stronger, almost fierce. However, she said, that doesn't mean I'll stay silent if a lie becomes harmful. It was the first sign of fire beneath her gentle exterior. I'm speaking now because the narrative has twisted too far. Because people forget that behind every rumor is a real person, a real marriage, and real feelings. The final twist came when she addressed Dakota directly, something no one expected. If Dakota ever watches this, Amelia said softly, I hope she knows I never blamed her. Not once. We were both just trying to navigate a situation we didn't choose. She nodded slightly, as if releasing a weight she had carried for too long. And I hope she's been able to find her own peace too. The room felt heavier, fuller, but also strangely lighter, like the truth had finally breathed after years of being trapped. Amelia wasn't attacking. She wasn't denying. She wasn't pretending. She was simply acknowledging the complexity of being human in a world that demands simple, dramatic answers. As the interview wrapped up, Amelia left the world with a final, unforgettable message. "Don't believe everything you see," she said. "Sometimes the real story isn't the one people keep repeating. It's the one no one ever bothered to ask about." And with that, she stood up, thanked the host, and walked off screen. Not as a victim, not as a villain, but as a woman reclaiming her voice. The internet erupted within minutes. Some people praised her strength. Others doubted her words. Many said the interview changed everything. One thing, however, was undeniable. For the first time in years, the story was finally hers.